I'm Matt from YWAM Sports and Fitness, and I'm going to talk about Pilates today, answer all your questions about what it is, what it isn't, and whether you should be doing it, or whether it's a bunch of rubbish that you can completely ignore. So Pilates is called or named after a guy called Joseph Pilates, who was a young German lad who immigrated to Britain pretty early on, a bit of a self-taught fitness genius and having lots of health problems as a kid. He made his own little program up, and by 14 apparently was so cut that they're asking him to model for anatomical charts, which is pretty impressive. He was perhaps the first person to start putting Eastern and Western methods together, and he had a bit of a history and experience in things like yoga, bodybuilding, dance, gymnastics, and martial arts, and so he put them all together. And during World War One, he actually started improving it, and he ended up calling his techniques contrology after his belief that using your mind to control your muscle movements, and you really needed that thought process for proper training and recovery and rehabilitation. So from that, in modern Pilates today, what we've got is basically a set of exercises, and usually done in a class setting. And the aims and claims of Pilates is that by increasing your mindful muscle activity, it increases your body awareness, your muscle strength, your endurance, your flexibility, and improves your posture and balance and function and just overall fitness. It has a specific focus on the core, or the abdomen and lower back and pelvic region stability, and that everything comes from having that stable base. So what are the pros and cons of Pilates? The pros are it's suitable for all levels, from beginners right through to your high-level athlete. It can be customized to meet individual needs for retraining or rehabilitation purposes. It's very low impact and doesn't require too much forceful dynamic movement. There's a non-competitive air about it, so it's very much more about your self-awareness and improvement rather than keeping up with the rest of what the class is doing. Suitable for a range of ages, from your early teens right through to the elderly and even potentially frail. And you don't need a whole lot of equipment for it. There is a lot of equipment and options available, like the reformer machines and things like that, but you can just do it with a mat at home in your living room if you like. The cons of it is often it's not as efficient for weight loss or burning calories as the more normal workout sessions or strenuous exercises such as running or swimming, and it can be quite technical and precise to get the most benefit out of it. So it does require a higher level of concentration, which can be difficult. If it's being used for injury rehabilitation, it needs to be customized for the person, then a general class might not always be the best idea. People can find their perceived rate of progress is quite slow, and it can lead to frustration or people giving up on it quite early on. Some people can find it quite boring. It's not a high energy environment with lots of encouragement and motivation to push through anything, and some of the classes can be focused on very similar or exercises, which means you can reach a plateau. Classes can be expensive as well and overcrowded. So what does the evidence say? There's been a bunch of research done on the use of Pilates, particularly the last 5 to 10 years, but the majority of it hasn't produced any convincingly strong evidence. There's been several systematic reviews done for Pilates as a rehabilitation tool for pain and, in some cases, disability, mostly including patients in the 40 to 60 age bracket, but particularly focused on low back pain problems. The consensus being that there is only low to moderate evidence that Pilates seems to be effective in achieving the rehab results, whether that's reducing pain or improving function. And it's more useful than minimal intervention, but it's not conclusive that it's specifically more beneficial than other general exercise activities. So therefore there's much more need for more research in particular areas and specific areas, especially in particular exercises and rehabilitation processes or for specific conditions. So to Pilates or not to Pilates, Joe had a great quote that I must be right. Never an aspirin, never injured a day in my life. The whole country, the whole world should be doing my exercises. They'd be happier. So he was obviously quite confident. Is he right? Maybe. He just doesn't seem at the moment to be any more right than anyone else. So there's no solid proof either way yet. So is it for you? Worst you can do is give it a go and see if you like it. And if you don't, it's no big deal, but just do something. Something's better than nothing, so go find you something and do it. Modern Pilates is repetitive sex. Repetitive sex. And sometimes people can find it boring. It's not a high energy, hugely challenging. Well, what is challenging? A range of ages. It's very peaceful, often done in a nice, calm, tranquil. Can't say it in English. Tranquil environment.